Amara walked into the Kempinski Hotel and stopped moving. Right there, 15 feet away, standing near the front desk like he owned the floor beneath him, was Daniel Ose. And the worst part, he looked like he did. The hotel manager was beside him, nodding with that particular kind of attention people reserve for someone they cannot afford to offend. A junior staff member hovered 2 steps behind, holding a folder waiting. Daniel said something. Everyone around him laughed. Not the polite laugh you give a guest, the real one, the one you cannot fake. He was wearing a charcoal suit that had clearly never met a discount rack. His posture was relaxed, his presence was not. Amara stood at the entrance of that lobby and felt 8 years collapse into a single, breathless second. Then he looked up. Their eyes met. Neither of them moved. To understand what that moment meant, you have to go back. Back to a cramped study room in University of Ghana, Legon, where a boy with worn shoes and a Texas Instruments calculator was explaining differential equations to a girl who kept getting them wrong on purpose just so he would stay longer. His name was Daniel Ose. He was from Nima. He sent 1/3 of his allowance home every month, ate 1 proper meal a day without complaining about it, and understood mathematics the way some people understand music. Naturally, effortlessly, like the notes had always been inside him. Her name was Amara Mensah. Her mother had a plan for her. Her friends had an image, and that image had a very specific checklist. The right family name, the right car, the right kind of ambition, the kind you could see, the kind that came with evidence. Daniel had the ambition. He just did not have the evidence yet. She told herself that was what the problem was. She believed it even. The tutoring sessions started in October of their final year. By November, they had developed a rhythm that had nothing to do with calculus. He brought her tea. No ginger, because he had noticed without being told. She saved him a seat, even when other people asked to sit there. They argued about everything: music, politics, whether Accra traffic was a conspiracy or just a punishment. They laughed too easily and too often for 2 people who were only supposed to be studying. Her roommate Cynthia said it plainly one evening. "That boy likes you, Amara. He is just friendly," she said, not looking up from her textbook. "He remembered you hate ginger in your tea. He remembered that?" Amara said nothing. Men do not remember things like that for girls they are just friendly with. She knew Cynthia was right. She had known for weeks. But knowing something and acting on it are 2 entirely different countries, and Amara was not ready to cross that border. Not with Daniel, not with someone whose shoes were worn at the heel, not with someone whose version of a big Friday night was pepper soup at a local spot and a long walk back to campus because the trotro had stopped running. Her mother's voice lived in her head like a permanent tenant. "You are not going to work this hard and settle, Amara. You are not going to end up scraping by because you let your heart make decisions your head should be making." So when Daniel finally said what he felt on the last day of final exams, standing outside the exam hall with the afternoon sun behind him and his heart clearly in his throat, Amara was ready with her answer before he finished his sentence. "Amara," he said, "I know this might be strange timing, but I have been wanting to say this for a while." He took a breath. "I really care about you, more than I probably should, and I would like to take you out. Properly, if you would let me." He said it cleanly, no stammering, no desperation, just a man telling the truth, waiting to see what she would do with it. She looked at him, at the worn shoes, at the faded collar of his shirt, at the sincerity on his face that she suddenly found inconvenient. "Daniel," she said, and her voice was gentle, which made it worse. "You are sweet. You really are. But I cannot be with someone who does not know where he is going." The air shifted. He did not flinch. He did not argue. He did not ask her what she meant, and they both knew that he understood exactly what she meant. It was not about direction. It was about appearance. It was about what he looked like, where he came from, what he currently had. It was about her mother's voice, her friends' opinions, the checklist. He nodded slowly. Just once. "Okay, Amara," he said, and he left. No scene, no anger, just 2 words and a quiet exit that somehow felt louder than shouting would have. She watched him walk away and told herself she had made the right decision. She told herself that for a long time. 3 months after graduation, she started dating Kweku Asante. Kweku had a Land Cruiser and a father with a title and a laugh that filled whatever room he was in. He wore his success loudly, which felt at the time like confidence. He took her to the right restaurants. He knew the right people. Her mother approved immediately with a warmth she had never directed at Amara quite so fully before. Now that her mother said after meeting him, "Is someone going somewhere?" Kweku was going somewhere. He just was not taking her seriously while he went. 2 years in, she found out she was one of 3 women he had been taking to different restaurants, each of them believing they were the only one. She ended it. He was barely sorry. Emmanuel came after Kweku. Emmanuel was worse in the ways that are harder to explain. Not dishonest exactly, just completely unavailable in every way that mattered. Present in the room, absent in the relationship. They lasted 14 months. She lost count of how many times she ate dinner alone while he was in the same apartment. After Emmanuel, she stopped keeping count. Her career was fine. She was a senior marketing manager at a multinational firm, good at her job, respected in her office. That part of her life had delivered exactly what she had worked for. But she would come home to her apartment in Airport Residential and sit in the silence and feel something she did not have a clean word for. Not loneliness exactly. More like the specific ache of a life that looks correct from the outside and echoes on the inside. She never said this to anyone. She barely said it to herself. Meanwhile, and she only learned this in fragments through cousins and old classmates and the way Accra gossip travels, Daniel had not stood still. The first thing she heard was that he had gotten a scholarship. Full funding postgraduate somewhere in the UK. A classmate mentioned it casually at a reunion she almost did not attend, the way you mention weather. Daniel Osei? Oh, he is in Edinburgh. Some engineering program. Full ride, apparently. Amara nodded and changed the subject. The second thing she heard came 2 years later. He was back. He had started a company. Something in logistics technology, an app that helped small traders track goods from the port to the warehouse in real time. It solved a problem everyone had accepted as unsolvable because it had always been there. Shrinkage, delays, goods disappearing between the port and the destination with no record and no accountability. Daniel built the record. He built the accountability. She heard the company started with 3 people in a single room in Osu. She heard it grew. Then she stopped hearing small details and started hearing the name. DS Logistics Tech. It showed up in the business pages, then in general news. Then her colleague forwarded her an article without knowing the connection. Ghanaian startup DS Logistics Tech closes $12 million Series A round and partners with regional port authorities across West Africa. She read the article twice. The founder's photo was small, placed at the bottom of the page. But it was him. Same face. Sharper, settled, completely certain of itself, in a way it had not quite been at 22. She closed the article and did not open it again. She told herself it did not matter. She had made her choices. He had made his. Life was not a competition, and his success was not her failure. She believed that too. Mostly. The call from her cousin Isaac came on a Tuesday. "I am getting engaged," he said. "Dinner at Kempinski Saturday. You have to come, Amara. No excuses." "Of course," she said. "Who is the lucky woman?" "Her name is Priscilla. You will love her." He paused. "Oh, and my business partner will be there. You might know him, actually. Daniel O.C. He said he went to Lagan around your time." The sentence landed differently than Isaac intended. "Daniel," she repeated. "Yes. We have been partners 3 years now. The man is something else, Amara. Built the whole thing from nothing. I keep telling him he should write a book." Isaac laughed. "Anyway, Saturday, 7 o'clock. Be there." She sat with the phone in her hand for a long time after he hung up. She almost did not go. She changed her dress twice. She sat in her car in the hotel parking lot for 6 minutes, doing nothing. Then she told herself she was being ridiculous. It had been 8 years. They were adults. It was her cousin's engagement dinner. She got out of the car. She walked into the lobby. And there he was. When he looked up and saw her, something passed across his face. Not shock, not warmth, not coldness. Recognition. The simple, unhurried recognition of a man who had already processed this possibility and arrived at peace with it before it happened. He excused himself from the hotel manager and walked toward her. "Amara, Daniel." She smiled, or tried to. "I did not know you would be here." Isaac did not mention it. He did. I did not fully process it until now." She laughed lightly, hating how nervous she sounded. "You look well. Thank you. You do too." A silence settled between them. The kind that carries history. "How long have you and Isaac been working together?" she asked. 3 years. He came on when we were expanding the inland distribution side. Sharp mind. Good instincts. He said it with the ease of a man discussing something he was proud of, but not performing about. "He never mentioned you by name," she said. "I mean, not to me." "We do not talk about each other's personal lives much," Daniel said simply. "We keep it professional." Another silence. She could feel the words forming before she had decided to say them. "Daniel, I have thought about that day, after finals, what I said." She stopped, started again. "I was not fair to you. I said something that was not really about you, and I think part of me has known that for a long time." He looked at her, not unkindly, but without the gratitude she had half expected, half hoped for. He did not need her apology the way she had imagined he might. "Amara," he said gently, but with complete finality, "I appreciate that. Genuinely. But I made peace with that a long time ago." A small pause. "It pushed me, actually. So in some ways I should thank you." She did not know what to do with that. "Enjoy the dinner," he said. "It is good to see you." Then a woman appeared at the far side of the lobby, tall, moving with the ease of someone completely comfortable in her own skin, scanning the room until she found Daniel. When she spotted him, her face broke into a smile that was private and warm and clearly well practiced. "There you are," the woman said, reaching him. She slipped her hand into his without looking around for permission. Daniel put his other hand briefly over hers. A small gesture, the kind that costs nothing and means everything. "Sorry," he said to her. "Ran into someone from university." The woman smiled politely at Amara. "Nice to meet you." "You too," Amara said. And then they walked away. Together, toward the function room, talking quietly about something that had nothing to do with her. Amara stood there until they disappeared through the door. Then she found her table. She sat down. The waiter brought her tea, and she lifted the cup and tasted ginger. Wrong order. And she set it back down and did not call him back to fix it. She sat in the middle of that beautiful room, surrounded by the sound of celebration, and she finally quietly let herself feel the full weight of the choice she had made 8 years ago on a sunny afternoon outside an exam hall. She had not rejected a poor man. She had rejected a man whose potential she was too shallow to see. A man who was never going nowhere. He just had not arrived yet. And she had looked at the journey and confused it for the destination. The real tragedy was not that she lost Daniel. The real tragedy was the version of herself that had made that call. The girl who had let her mother's voice and her friends' opinions do her choosing for her. The girl who had measured a man by his shoes instead of his spirit. Daniel had not lost 8 years. She had. He had spent those years becoming. She had spent them performing. Performing the right image, the right relationship, the right life. And performing was exhausting in a way that becoming never was. She picked up the tea again, drank it, ginger and all, some lessons you have to swallow exactly as they come. If this story moved, you hit the like button right now. It helps more people find it. And if you are new here, subscribe. Every week, there is a story on this channel that will make you think, feel, and see people differently. Drop in the comments. Have you ever misjudged someone's potential or had yours misjudged? I read every single one. See you in the next story.